Paraffin-based waxes are what the likes of Joe Malone, Bath & Body Works and Yankee Candles use in their products. While it gets a bad rep for not being plant-based, paraffin waxes are known for their superior scent throw. If you stick around to the end, I have made a step-by-step recipe so you can make your own paraffin wax candles at home. Subscribe and hit the bell if you are a budding candle maker looking to start and grow your own business. You can also follow me on Instagram at Luna London Candles. Hey everyone, my name is Ashani and I'm the creator of Luna London Candles, a home fragrance company due to launch in November 2020. On this channel, we talk about candle making and selling candles online. So guys, let's talk paraffin waxes. So paraffin waxes, like all other reputable waxes available on the market, is classed as non-toxic. There have been studies both for and against paraffin waxes, although there isn't any conclusive evidence or published evidence that paraffin waxes are carcinogenic or cause cancer. I've popped the NHS link in the description box below and a couple of other different articles that I read when I was researching different types of waxes. They're really useful articles and really discuss the headlines that we've all probably seen in the newspapers about how bad scented candles are. So I'll leave it up to you to do your own research. When starting out, I definitely recommend researching all different types of waxes and trying them out. Don't feel pressurized to use one certain type because everybody else is doing it. So for today's video, we are using CS2 wax, which is from Candle Shack, and it's, I assume, Candle Shack 2 wax. And it's basically a paraffin and plant-based wax blend. And basically the idea of it is that you get the best of both worlds. You get the paraffin aspect in terms of the scent throw, which is the benefit of paraffin wax, and also the clean burning of a plant-based wax. They don't actually mention what the plant-based wax is within the specific blend. I guess it's their proprietary information, but what they do mention is this is the wax they use to fulfill orders for their luxury clients. The wax is used for containers and is a lovely creamy white colour. So to make a paraffin candle, you'll need the following things. So you'll need your melting pot, you'll need some scales. I like to also have a heatproof mat. You'll need a thermometer, a digital one is good, or any other kitchen thermometer you have at home. You'll need your wax, of course, a wick, some scissors, your container. Today I'm using the Lucy 30 centiliter container. Something to stick your wick down. I'm going to use a glue gun, but you can use stickums or whatever you prefer. And you will also need some wick centerers. I've got some gloves because I find that although I really love the Lucy jar, my fingerprints go on it like crazy and it drives me up the wall. And you'll also need your fragrance oil. Today we're going to be doing the Dark Honey and Tobacco, also from Candle Shack, and it has to be hands down one of my favorite scents. It is a really dark and woodsy, spicy and ambery scent. It's really beautiful if you're looking for something very intense and luxury. So for my first launch, I'm going to be doing a Zodiac theme line, and I've decided to go for Dark Honey and Tobacco for my Taurus scent. If you're a Taurus, I'd love to know if you think this might be something you like. Comment down below and let me know if you're a Taurus and if you think I got it right or wrong. I'd love to know what your take is on this scent. Of course you can't smell it, but from the scent description I gave, let me know if it sounds like something you'd like. Okay, so let's get on to making this candle. The first thing I'm going to do is just pop on my water and let that heat up while we measure out our wax. So as I mentioned, we're going to be using the Lucy 30 centiliter jar, and I also have the wooden wicks that come along with it, so you can buy it separately. I just felt like it added to the luxury feel and also makes it more of an experience and like traps in the scent as well. And to actually allow enough space for the lid, I kind of had to play around with it and found that the optimum amount I should fill my jar up to is about 200 grams in total. So I do 180 grams of wax and 18 grams of fragrance oil at a 10% load. So I'm going to go ahead and just measure out my wax. So don't forget to tear your scale. Okay, so we're at 155, I'll just go ahead and add in the rest. I should mention that I do have the 24 kilo block of wax, which is like huge and really heavy, and it comes in a big slab. So I just like to cut it down and put them in these sample size tubs, just so I can transport it between where I store the wax and when I'm actually making a candle. So this is too heavy, and yeah, I just like to go ahead and cut down the wax as I need to. There we go, 180, perfect. Okay, so now our water's ready. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick my melting pot onto the stove. Okay, so our wax is now melted. I usually find that I need to heat up the wax between 75 and 80 degrees C for it to completely melt. Our wax is now completely melted. We're at about 80 degrees C. I like to add my fragrance oil in at about 68 degrees and then mix it in, and then by the time it's at 65, I like to pour. And that's kind of in line with what they recommend on the website and actually on the box of wax. So while the wax is melting, I'm gonna go ahead and prep my jar. I'm gonna be using my glue gun, as I said, so I'll just stick that on and get my jar ready. So today we're going to be using the V series wick, which is a Weeder wick, and I use the Weeder wick configurator when I'm trying to wick any jar, and I find it such an excellent tool to point me in the right direction. If you're a new beginner, I would highly recommend it. Basically, you put in your type of wax, you put in the diameter of your jar, and it will suggest a few different options for you to try, so it really points you in the right direction if you want to start testing wicks out. So today I'm going to be using the V12. So I'm just going to first go ahead and clean out my jar with some alcohol, and basically isopropyl is what I use. I just find it really useful. But what I find really gross is when you wipe out your jars and then like see what's actually, because obviously they were in a factory and stuff, so dust and all sorts of things get on. So I'd really recommend for you to clean out your jar, because it'll also help your wick adhere to the glass a lot better. Okay, so our jar is prepped and it's almost about time to add in the fragrance oil. What I like about paraffin wax is you don't actually have to wait a whole load of time before you pour. When I use soy wax, I feel like I have to wait ages before I can go ahead and pour. So the fact that you don't have to do that with paraffin is quite nice. It just means you can get things done a bit quicker. So I've popped my melting pot on the scale, and don't forget to tare it. Otherwise it'll be really confusing of how much oil you're adding in. So we're just about there. I'll pop on my wick centerer. Okay, and as I said, we're going to go for 18 grams for this. And I'm going to go ahead and vigorously mix it and pour at 65 degrees. So one thing I forgot to do is actually heat up my jar, and I highly recommend heating your jar up before you pour in, just because it helps the wax adhere to the glass a lot better and avoids it from pulling away from the glass. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this in one pour. I find that I don't really ever have to do a second pour. Sometimes it does contract kind of around the wick and maybe have a little dip, but that doesn't happen too often, so I usually find one pour is sufficient. Okay, so our pour is done. I'm going to let this candle sit here for a couple of hours, let it solidify and just make it more manageable to move around, and after that it's going to sit and cure for 72 hours minimum, which I love. It's a really short amount of cure time in comparison to like soy wax, for example, or some soy waxes which require 2 weeks, which is a huge amount of time. That's one of the other reasons I would really recommend trying out this wax if you haven't done so already. So I'll see you in a couple of hours. Okay guys, it's been a couple of hours and my candle has now set. I have to say we've got a pretty decent smooth top. There's a little bit of dipping, but nothing too major, and I'm pretty happy with the results. It smells really good, it's got a good cold throw, so I'm really happy with it. I'll bring it in for a close-up and you can have a look at the top as well. So hopefully it came up true to life on camera, but maybe you also picked up the little dip in there, but there was nothing too major and I'm pretty happy with the results. The final thing I'm going to do is go ahead and label up. So as I said, it's my Taurus candle, so I'm going to use my Taurus labels, and I was so excited to receive these in the post because it makes everything so much more real. I'll show you a close-up of it. Let me know what you thought of the label in the comment section below. I'd love to know your opinion. It's really exciting but also scary at the same time, so I really hope you guys like it. Okay guys, that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't done so already. I have tons more candle making content coming up. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you can go into the description box below and pick up your recipe for making a paraffin candle at home. So thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!